G'day, guys, and welcome to the Online Computer Coaching Podcast with Tyson Anderson. Hope you're doing very well today, and a big thank you for listening into the podcast. Just taking time out of your day to listen to me makes me quite proud. So, today's podcast, I'm going to talk about my degree. I've finished it at long last. I'm so pumped. I've finished it off in February. If you're listening to it now or in the future, currently it is the end of April. So finished it up a couple of months ago and could not be any happier. It was one of the greatest days ever, just finishing that last exam, which I'll delve into a little bit later on. But I'll go a little bit through my story, and I guess through later podcasts or future podcasts, I'll delve into some more finite details. But today I'll just sort of do a bit of an overview of sort of the units I did and sort of how I went about it on and off campus, and some bits and pieces of advice that I learned along the way that helped me to get to where I am today, which is currently a full-time position at a clothing company, global clothing company. So, look, I'll go into a little bit of introduction. So, I finished year 12 in 2012, and got the ATAR score I wanted. So it might be GPA for you guys in America. I'm not too sure. I think that's sort of how it is there. So I got an ATAR of 80.75, which was plenty for me to get into my course. I think I only needed about a 50, but I actually enrolled in the Bachelor of Information Technology honours, which required an 80. So I got exactly what I needed, even though I was only going to just do the normal Bachelor. I just sort of picked honours because I just sort of panicked, and that's sort of how I went about it. And look, I think first round offer came through, and they accepted me into Deakin University, which is the university I ended up going to. So that was quite a privilege to get a spot there. And after year one, I think I just changed into just the normal Bachelor of Information Technology. So that was just, again, the same sort of stream except without the research and the fourth year, I suppose. So overall, yeah, it was a 3-year degree. Took me slightly longer, which I'll delve into shortly soon. But yeah, I got that offer and actually deferred for a year. I thought, I don't know, part of me just wanted to see what accounting was like. I can't even remember what I was thinking at the time. I was just sort of looking through courses and whatnot. I was obviously thinking, I need some kind of income. I was thinking of a gap year, and I don't think I found anything too special on the job front. So I looked around for a few courses, and I remember thinking to myself, I haven't given accounting a crack, and I wanted to in year 11 and year 12, but I just simply couldn't based off me picking IT in subjects in year 11, so I couldn't really go down that path, and I gave that a crack. So in 2013, I obviously went for the Certificate 4 in accounting, and look, that was reasonable. Made some good friends there and whatnot, and the content was a little bit dry and a bit tough at times, but look, for most part, it was reasonably enjoyable, and learn a few things about numbers and about businesses, legal stuff and whatnot. Lots and lots of numbers, and some was pretty boring, but that's okay. And then I got my Certificate 4, then went for the diploma because I got encouraged to just keep going. I thought, okay, why not? Give that a crack, and kept going along, and that was good fun. Some tough units, tax unit was very tough and whatnot, so a little bit out of my depth, but certainly gave it a red hot crack and ended up getting my diploma of accounting after a year. So I was like, okay, cool, got a diploma now. There's a little bit, that's right, yep. I wanted it as a backup, just like in case IT didn't work out for whatever reason. I thought at least I've just got that foundation built up and had a little bit of a, I suppose, backup career if anything went haywire or I couldn't get anything sort of in the IT area. So that was quite an experience. Accounting, certainly learned a few things, and yeah, it was very challenging, that's for sure. You really got to have a keen eye, and also just rest your eyes. The numbers can get pretty heavy on the eyes and the head. So yeah, what an experience that was. And then 2014 is when I started going to Deakin, and that's when I really got stuck into it. Just remember those first few weeks and just meeting people and stuff was pretty full on. I don't think I remember knowing anyone, so I went in there just cold. Because I guess everyone in my year level that would have gone to Deakin would probably have gone there the year before, assuming they took their first round selection and didn't defer like I did. But in the end, didn't matter too much. I got there just a little bit later. So that was that. Started in 2014 and just finished up recently obviously just in February, a couple of months ago, and currently probably nearly $30,000 in debt. Luckily, we have to earn a certain threshold here in Australia before you actually pay off that debt. So let's hope we can stay under it for a little bit, and I guess eventually earn a few more dollars and then pay that off. So yeah, in a bit of debt, but that's okay. That's all part of the fun. So I might go into the units now, the units I did to get my degree, and I've got 2 units which were, we got this system called RPL, which is recognition of applied learning. So when you have certain levels of units, like for example, if you've done a TAFE course or whatever, you can get certain units that actually get counted towards your degree. So obviously I did my Certificate 4 in Diploma of Accounting, so I was able to get 2 level 1 units from, I guess, units I did the year before, which really helped me just sort of finish that degree just a little bit quicker. I thought about doing the full 24 units, just straight off the list, but I thought might as well just use what I've done in the past. So just going into the units now. So I'll just go into what units I did and then the marks I got for them. Just give you guys a bit of a guide on what it was like and what I found challenging, and just sort of what encompasses a degree of IT, I suppose. So we've got the fundamentals of IT, which is a pretty basic course, 83, one of my best marks, and pretty basic as you'd expect by that. Fundamentals, critical thinking and problem solving. Based by this mark, I can't think properly, so I've got 55 for that. So that in our language is a pass. I guess I'll go through the marking criteria. So 50 to 59 is a pass. A credit is 60 to 69. Distinction is 70 to 79, and anything over 80 is a high distinction, so you obviously want as many of those as possible. I didn't get as many high distinctions as I would have liked, but certainly happy with at least my overall results, because it is a degree with a distinction, so a few 70s coming up, as you may expect. So the next one I've got is Introduction to Apps Design. Got 78 for that, pretty proud of that. Just sort of a generic, basic look at sort of application development, more so getting into ideas and whatnot. Introduction to Programming, 76. I'm not really a good programmer at all. Introduction to Database Design, struggled on this one probably the most, and was my worst mark, getting 52, and it was a multiple choice exam, so that was even funnier. Introduction to Web Development, got 66. Got a bit lazy towards the end there, but reasonable course. Introduction to Computer Security, got 76. And I like security, so it was one of my majors, but I think I dropped it for networking, so that leads me to my major actually. So Bachelor of Information Technology and Cloud Computing was my major. Was networking, but then they changed it to Cloud Computing just because it sounded fancier. Operating System Concepts, I got 70, which I was pretty proud of. Information Technology, Professional Skills, 75. That was just a lot of group activities and just, wasn't too fun, but did the job. Enterprise Network Construction got 74, so that was just Cisco stuff, which I do plenty of videos on YouTube, which you can find at Online Computer Coaching on YouTube. Computer Crime and Digital Forensics, 71. Quite an interesting unit and challenging unit at times. I liked it though. Computer Networks got 71. That was tough. Enterprise Network Management was another Cisco unit, so it was like CCNA 3 and 4 essentially, with CCNA 1 and 2 being Enterprise Network Construction. So I got 77 for Network Management. IT Security Management, I got 68. Like that unit. Thought I did a bit better than 68, but that's fine. I'll accept that. And Research and Development in Information Technology, got 76. That was a lot of research, and I felt like I was just blabbing on about nothing. Cloud Computing and Virtualization got 79. The only actual unit, I think, requirement for the Cloud Computing major, because it was new and changing. Corporate Computer and Network Security got 70. Pretty wrapped with that. Cyborg Anthropology, 63. It was a pretty random unit. I had to chat to the course advisor who gave me a suggestion, because I was sort of struggling to find units, and gave me that one. And talked about abortion on one of my topics. Had to do sort of a partnered up analysis of an article, and that was pretty heavy, but good unit though. System Security got 66. That was a pretty tough one. Project, which is a sort of capstone unit for the entire, I guess, just putting all your knowledge that you've learned over the last few years into a project and did a website there. 78. IT internship 75. So that one was pretty decent. And I'll say the best for last, guys, here. Project management got a nice 86. I did more research and study on that than I reckon I've ever done on anything. It was my last exam I had to do because in my last trimester I did 3 units, and that was sort of the only exam I had to do because the rest were just assignments. So I went home. Went home on just getting as much practice multiple choice questions as possible, and that's what the exam was. So that was pretty helpful overall. And looking back onto the worst score, which was in the database design, it was just pretty dry. Year 1 unit, I can't believe I did that badly there. It's funny actually looking through. Nothing below 65, I don't believe, right here, unless it's a year 1 unit. So I think I only went under 65 twice by the looks, which is problem solving and database design. So there you go, quite interesting stats there. I'm finally just realising these now. So there you go. I guess the educational side of things, I mean, it was a reasonable go. I mean, you know, the content was pretty dry. Rocking up to lectures wasn't awesome, but I went to off-campus mode at the end of year 2 just since I got work. Full-time work made it a bit hard to be physically there on campus, and I was quite happy that doing that, sort of not having to be there and just sort of, you know, just doing it when I got home. It was a hard grind, that one, which I'll probably delve into another podcast just about working and doing a degree at the same time. Did that for a full year, so I've got a little bit of exposure there, and I'll be certainly excited to talk about that in another podcast. And delve into that and the challenges I've faced there, and maybe some little tricks and tips on getting over those little hurdles that you come across. But yeah, I didn't do it in 3 years. It was just a little bit over 3 because I actually obviously got the full-time position, and it was interesting how that all panned out. Really, I went. My stepdad was just having a look at a jet ski, and I was having a chat to the guy's wife about her career and stuff, and she mentioned she worked in IT project management, and she was saying, yeah, I started out like you. You know, I got the started out working on the desktops and laptops, fixing those and stuff, and then moved along up the ladder and then got into IT project management. She was mentioning how she was making $1,500 a day. I was like, wow, that's not too bad at all. So I was pretty, my ears were pricked up, I suppose. I was very intrigued to see how she sort of went about it. And yeah, it was an interesting story. She sort of said, don't worry about your degree in your final year. Obviously, intend to finish it, but just look for a job. So I'll delve into another podcast about sort of my process of getting that job. But simply just applied away essentially and found something. And that was just before I was actually on holiday when I heard about it. When I got the final message of I got the job. So that was just an unreal moment. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I took the advice, and hopefully it pays off. It certainly has so far. And I must say that last exam, I'll just skip ahead to that. That last exam was quite simply amazing. I went in pretty confident. I thought I might as well go in confident. You know, even if I'm faking it, it doesn't matter whether I'm faking it, if it's real or not. I'm just going to go in there and just give it a red hot crack and see how I go. I knew I put in the hard work. I did so many practice exam questions, and I thought I was dead set going to nail it, and I did, getting 86 all up. I'm not exactly sure what the actual mark of the exam would have been. I'd have to get the old calculator out, but I guess I could get a bit of a sport metaphor or analogy happening here. Sort of, if you follow your sport, so I follow AFL, and the feeling was like you've got your team in the grand final. They've got to a point where they've got a match-winning lead. The game's all wrapped up, and you've just kept kicking goals. I mean, that's just how it felt. Just as I was just finishing off those last few questions, it was quite simply surreal feeling. Just super wrapped for the entire day, and it was just one of the greatest days of my life. I mean, it has to be said, but yeah, couldn't really put into words how it felt. I just felt on top of the world, and still to this day, pretty proud. And I never really had to finish the degree in theory because I simply did what I had to do. I mean, a lot of people go to get the degree because they want to get a job, and I got the job I wanted, and at least a very good stepping stone into sort of IT career life. But really, it was more so of a pride thing and just finishing things off. I was 2 years in. I thought, oh, 1 year to go. Surely I can get this done, and finished up. And I did end up finishing it. So again, yeah, super pumped to get that done. And I guess couldn't be much happier. Really, it's still to this day. I'm just so pleased and happy that I stuck to the decision of keep on going, because I had discussions with the folks and a few other people like, oh, is it worth it? I thought, come on, mate, you've got this far. Surely it shouldn't be too bad to finish it off. So it wasn't all, it wasn't all pretty, I suppose. I think in second year I had glandular fever, or at least very heavy symptoms of it. For those of you not sure on that, it's basically where you've got no energy at all, and there's just, you have muscle aches and you have no energy to get out of bed, and you can't really do much at all. So I was doing, I think, 4 units at the time, and I was just really, I think I had a couple of really bad nights sleep, just getting up earlier than normal. I'm not saying the uni's dirty or anything, but I reckon maybe just picked up a few germs, air conditioner, something like that, a couple of cold days, and just a bit stressed out about everything, and ended up, just being absolutely cooked for the good part of 6 months. I was basically down and out. I don't know how, still to this day, I don't even know how I got through it all. I did drop web programming. That was the unit I was doing, so I did drop out of that one before the date where you can sort of get out of it without having to pay the fees. And glad I did. And again, I still don't know how I got through it all, but found a way, and that's what you got to do in, I guess, university and life in general. Just got to come back to the well each day, even if you're not feeling the best. You just got to push yourself through it and give yourself the best crack, and that will certainly help you within future opportunities, and will just help you shape you as a person. And nothing wrong with resilience, that's for sure. So that's my little spiel on my degree. I finally finished it a couple of months ago, and again, as I've just blasted about this whole time, just super wrapped. And if you're ever struggling, sort of thinking, oh, is it worth it? Is my degree worth it? Should I really get a degree in IT? Absolutely. I mean, I could probably dedicate another podcast to saying, is it worth going to university, getting an IT degree versus maybe other methods of just on-the-job work experience, or maybe sort of TAFE, or not college, but sort of similar along those lines. Community college, I think they call it in America, if you're a listener in America. But that's pretty much it about my experience. So I've just sort of discussed, I guess, the process of me getting my ATAR score, getting the first round selection, and then deferring for the year, going to Deakin University in 2014. Got a little bit of debt behind my shoulders, but that's all right. I'll get through it. And went through some of my units as well, which and some of the results there, some of the hard units and easy units, and a little bit about those. Also, a little bit of advice that helped me a long way to getting my full-time position that I've currently got now. And a bit of advice about that one, and a little bit about the not so glamorous moments of getting glandular fever, which certainly hampered my experience at uni, and just generic well-being certainly wasn't too fun. But don't wish it upon my worst enemy. Really, it's a horrible feeling. But going along to the lighter moments, and the last exam is like a grand final for yourself when you've just kicked that winning goal. You've sealed the deal, and it's just it's like you're up in the clouds. It's fantastic. It's an amazing experience, and I'm glad I've got the job done, and certainly wish you guys all the best. For anyone that is doing an IT degree at the moment, or just in university in general, just keep pushing. You'll get there. It feels like it's forever. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So take it easy, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to this podcast as well. I really appreciate those of you taking time out of your day to listen in, and feel free to check out the show notes at onlinecomputercoaching.com/podcast/EP2. And so you can go to my website, onlinecomputercoaching.com, to check out more content. If you're interested in seeing any sort of tutorials I have, I'm on YouTube, so you can go to my website, or you can go search online computer coaching in YouTube. I've got some Cisco videos up and some other Windows tutorials, and plan to put up plenty more content there. So super excited about that, and feel free to subscribe to the podcast as well. Just check out my site, get onto my mailing list, so you can just stay up to date with all the content I produce. And again, thank you very much, and have a nice day, guys. And thanks for listening again. I'll see you.